let's talk about something that's probably happened to you. You ever feel like no matter how kind you are or how much you help out, you just feel invisible? Like all your effort doesn't get the respect it deserves? Well, we're going to get into that because today we are tackling that really frustrating question. Why are good people so often taken for granted? So let's start with you. I mean, do you see yourself as a good person? You know, you're the one who tries to help, you show respect, you do the right thing. It's just kind of how you're wired. And yet, what do you get in return for all that? Do you ever get that sinking feeling that you're just being overlooked? That people just sort of expect your help, your time, your energy, but they don't really give much back? If you're nodding your head right now, listen up. You are not imagining this. And it's not some personal failing on your part. What you're going through isn't just a string of bad luck. It's actually a known psychological pattern. And that pattern, well, it has a name. Let's just call it the good person trap. So in this first part, we're going to break down exactly what this trap looks like. And yeah, you might just see a little bit of yourself in this description.
So what does being caught in this trap actually look like? Well, for starters, you probably go way out of your way to avoid any kind of conflict. You also find it incredibly hard, almost physically painful, to just say the word no. You're a pro at adjusting to what everybody else needs, usually forgetting your own needs in the process, and you'll stay silent even when you disagree just to keep things peaceful.
And this, right here, this is the absolute core of the whole problem. See, you think you're showing everyone how good you are with all these actions, but the people on the receiving end, that's not how they're reading it at all. They don't see you as good, they see you as safe. So what does safe even mean in this context? Well, it means you don't present a challenge. You're not going to push back. You're not going to have demands. And the really brutal consequence of that is you don't require any special consideration. People subconsciously learn that they don't have to worry about your needs because you've basically taught them that you'll always be the one to bend. This all leads us to a huge misunderstanding that so many of us have about how people work. It's time to talk about what the real currency of respect is. And I'm telling you, it's probably not what you think. So here it is, the big secret. Real, genuine respect doesn't actually come from just being nice. It's not some reward you get for being agreeable all the time. Nope, it is a direct result of having and enforcing personal boundaries. And just look at this. It perfectly shows the two different signals you're sending. On one side, you have niceness without any boundaries. That sends a subconscious message to other people that, your time and your energy just aren't as valuable. They learn, oh, they'll always adjust for me. But on the other side, when you have strong boundaries, the signal is the complete opposite. It tells them, this person is valuable, their time and energy matter and must be respected. Okay, so let's keep going because we need to tackle this huge misconception that keeps so many good people stuck in the cycle. Let's call it the sacrifice myth. I'm going to let that one just hang in the air for a second because I know it's a tough one to swallow, but it's so, so important to understand. People don't respect sacrifice. Now, they might benefit from it, they might even say thank you, but they don't respect the act itself. Seriously, think about it. When you give up your time or your energy for someone, they'll probably say thank you. I mean, it's the polite thing to do. But what they won't do is give you that deep, genuine respect you're actually craving. And they're definitely not going to start making you a priority in their life. Your sacrifice doesn't buy you a higher spot on their totem pole. And that just leads to the really obvious kind of painful question, right? Why? If you're giving something up for someone else, why isn't that seen as this valuable act that's worthy of respect? The answer is actually pretty simple and direct. It's because when you are constantly sacrificing, you are sending one single clear message to the world. You put yourself last. And look, if you consistently show people that you don't prioritize yourself, why on earth would you expect them to? They're just following your lead. So now we gotta dig a little bit deeper. We have to ask, where does this people-pleasing thing even come from? Because a lot of the time, what looks like goodness on the outside is really just a mask for something else. It's a goodness that's born from fear. And when we break down what's driving this behavior, it's really revealing. A huge chunk of it, 40%, is driven by a deep fear of rejection. Another big piece comes from just being terrified of conflict. And the rest? It's a fear of being alone. See? None of this is really about pure selfless giving. It's about protecting yourself from feeling bad. And here's the final piece of that puzzle. People can subconsciously tell when you're doing something from a place of strength versus a place of fear. So this goodness that's based on fear, it isn't seen as strong or admirable. It's perceived, even if nobody says it out loud, as weakness. And weakness simply does not command respect.
Okay, I know that was a lot. We've talked about the trap, the myth, the fear behind it, and it might seem a little bleak, but here is the really good news. There is a clear, actionable way out of this. So let's talk about the assertive solution. And I want to be absolutely crystal clear about this. The goal here is not to turn you into a rude or selfish person. That is not the solution. This is all about finding a new way to be a good person, a stronger, more effective one. So here are 4 actual steps you can start taking. Number 1, learn to say no and really practice doing it without that wave of guilt washing over you. 2, get really clear on what your own limits are and then actually tell people what they are. 3, when you feel like you're not being heard, break that habit of just staying quiet. Speak up. And finally, and this one is huge, learn to just tolerate the discomfort that sometimes comes with healthy conflict. It's not a sign you failed, it's a sign of a real relationship.
Here's a great little mantra to keep in your back pocket. By all means, be a good person, be kind, be generous, be helpful, but stop being an always available person. Your time, your energy, those are valuable, and they're not infinite. You have to start treating them that way. So let's just put it all together with this one big idea. Your natural goodness is a power. It truly is. But like any power, it needs some structure, some control. Without boundaries, that power just becomes a really heavy burden that you're forced to carry all by yourself. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. The next time you get that old, familiar feeling, that sense of being taken for granted, just pause for a second and ask yourself this one very honest question. In this moment, am I really being a good person, acting from a place of strength and choice? Or am I just making myself small to avoid feeling uncomfortable? The answer to that question, well, it could change everything for you.